Well, out there in YouTube land and also some social media lands, welcome to an all-new video. This video we're going to be talking about an Amazon Prime video that just got released a couple weeks ago and is of a superhero vigilante type of deal and stars a really great action hero, so we're going to get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and the other videos I put up. And as always, people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, definitely check out my other social media platforms such as TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those great places. I pretty much post on a regular basis, so definitely check those out. As always, people, let's get right into this! So welcome one and all to an all-new video. So like I was saying before, we're going to be talking about a Amazon Prime video that got released a couple weeks ago, and is the action superhero Macho Man type of deal. And that, of course, is a film called Samaritan. Yeah! Samaritan. Yeah, so Samaritan is a new film that got dropped on Amazon Prime, and is exclusive to Amazon Prime. I don't believe it got a theatrical release, but it was put right down onto Amazon Prime. Now, this film is, like I said, an action kind of superhero type of film that's based off of a graphic novel, and is an all-around just kind of like superhero, kind of supposed to be in realistic reality type of deal, you know, and it gives us some really interesting, you know, kind of thoughts and stuff like that. And I know from what I've seen from the reviews, a lot of people didn't care too much for it, but I thought it was a pretty decent film, and I really enjoyed it. Now, to start us off, of course, is none other than the director of this film, and that happens to be the director known as Mr. Julius Avery. Yeah! Julius Avery. Yeah! So Julius Avery is the director of this film. He's directed a few other things over the years. But one particular film that he's really well known for, and is a film that I've seen the trailer for several different times. I still haven't watched this film, but I've heard a lot of good things about this film. And that happens to be the film known as Overlord. Yeah! Overlord. Yeah! So he directed also Overlord, and from my understanding, he did a really fantastic job with that film. A lot of people loved it. They thought it looked really good. They thought it was really fantastic, and that it was very well directed, had lots of great action, lots of great story, and just all around a really awesome kind of like graphic violence, you know, action-packed type of film. And with that at hand, it kind of goes into Samaritan. He brought that a little bit to Samaritan. But from my understanding, this film was a really fantastically done film, and it got a really high Rotten score on Tomatoes, you know, Rotten Tomatoes, and was just a really fantastically done film, I've heard. Lots of good things. I mean, from what I saw in the trailer that I've watched like a billion different times, all the different trailers, to me it looked really action-packed and really fun, and that it had a really cool concept, and I'm really looking forward to checking it out. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I've heard a lot of good things for. So if you haven't seen anything that Julius Avery's done, definitely check out Overlord. Supposedly he did a really fantastic job with that film. But when it comes to directing The Samaritan, I really enjoyed what he did with it. He gave us a lot of great action, a really great story, and just a really good concept that was, you know, a great traditional and at the same time expansive and different type of superhero film, kind of along the lines of, like, say, like a Zack Snyder, like Watchmen, or something like that, Guyver, and so forth like that. It was that type of film, I felt, and I really enjoyed what Julius did with the film, and gave us this really fantastic, like, superhero, anti-hero, you know, supervillain type of film with your classic, like, you know, evil and bad and stuff like that. That just was really well rounded and had no agenda whatsoever throughout the whole entire film, which was really nice to see. It was just a pure, awesome, action-packed flick, and I really enjoyed that about this film. I thought Julius did a really fantastic job. If you haven't seen anything Julius has directed, definitely give Samaritan a try. It's worth the watch. So this movie has a really awesome cast. I really enjoyed all the people that were involved with this film, and I thought they all did a really amazing job of bringing this film to life and giving us a really solid action superhero type of film. Now, of course, to start us off is Samaritan himself, Mr. Sylvester Stallone! Oh yeah, Sylvester Stallone! Woo! Sylvester Stallone! Oh my god, Sylvester Stallone, I love this guy. I've always loved this guy. I thought he's a fantastic action hero type of character. You know, he always does great action films. I mean, from Rambo's to, you know, films like Judge Dredd to films like Demolition Man, The Expendables, all those types of films. He is just a really an awesome action star. And the fact that he does majority of his own stunts and has pretty much always done his own stunts, he just is a really amazing action hero, I feel. Now, when it comes to his performance in Samaritan, I really enjoyed it. I thought he did a great job. I loved the, what he brought to it. At 76 years old, 75 when he probably filmed this, he just still rocks it, and he did an amazing job and brings, he just looks fantastic, and he looks so cool with the beard in this film. I really enjoyed the beard on him. I thought it brought a really cool look to him and gave him like a kind of a different feel than what you're used to seeing him in other films. Now, another film I really enjoyed him, and I think is a very underrated film that he doesn't get enough credit for, that shows that he also has some great, dramatic and comedic chops too as well. And that, of course, the film called Grudge Match. Yeah, Grudge Match. Yeah, this film is really fantastic. Basically, it's about two former boxers that decide, 30 years later to do another boxing match to see who actually would win. That, the person that did win actually didn't win, that the other person allowed them to win. And, Sylvester Stallone plays one of the characters, and so does Robert De Niro. And I just think Sylvester was so awesome in this film. I love the creation he brought to this character and just what he did with it, and how he gave us kind of like this, you love him, you kind of hate him, but at the same time you still sympathize with him throughout the whole entire film and understand where he's coming from and how, what he did those years ago, he did it for a good reason, and that he's, this awesome dude. And I just thought he was really fantastic in this film. If you haven't seen Grudge Match, definitely give it a whirl, people. It's worth a watch, and Sylvester is really fantastic in it. But overall, I really enjoyed Sylvester as a Samaritan. I thought he did a fantastic job, and I thought the action sequences were done really well. He did a great job of performing those, and I love his interactions with the main kid that is kind of like his sidekick a little bit. And I just really enjoyed all his interactions throughout the film, and he just gave a really solid performance. If you haven't seen anything Sylvester's done recently, definitely check out The Awesome Samaritan. He was really awesome in it. So that brings me to the next actor I'd like to talk about that was in this film. And that is none other than kind of the sidekick, other main character for this film, and kind of like Samaritan's kind of new bestie. And that, of course, is Mr. Javon Walton! Oh yeah! Javon Walton! Woo! Javon Walton! Yeah! So Javon Walton, he's a kid actor, and he's been in a few other things over the years, and has done a pretty good job. And I haven't seen him in too many things, but what he did in this film, I really enjoyed and thought he was really fantastic. As soon as I started seeing him on the screen, I automatically fell in love with the character and fell in love with his acting. I just thought that he did a really superb job. And overall, I thought that he brought a great essence to that character and just was really, really good. Now, another film that he was in, he actually lent his voice to, was a film that came out last year, the end of last year, and is a CGI animated film and sequel to a CGI animated film that came out a year or so prior. And that, of course, is the film called The Addams Family 2. Yeah, The Addams Family 2. Yeah, so the animated CGI film that they made with Oscar Isaacs doing a voice and Charlize Theron and stuff like that. He actually lent his voice to this one as the character of Pugsley, actually. And I thought he did a really good job with playing Pugsley, and I really enjoyed his voiceover work. And I thought he brought a really funniness to Pugsley, too, as well. Especially in this one, with it a lot more focused on Pugsley and kind of his relationship with his dad and kind of his relationship with falling in love and all that kind of stuff. And I thought that Javon did a really good job of bringing that to life and giving us this really great voiceover work. If you haven't seen anything that Javon has been in, definitely check out his voiceover in Addams Family 2. He did a really fantastic job. But like I was saying before, I really enjoyed him in this. I thought he did an amazing and fantastic job. I thought overall he just did a great job of bringing to life this character and giving us a solid performance that I feel is very, very noteworthy and should be definitely praised for how good he was in this film. And I especially towards the end of the film, there's a couple scenes that he just is so articulately, so amazing at it, and just gives some great performances. If you haven't seen Javon in anything, definitely check him out. In Samaritan, he did a really superb job. So that brings me to the last actor I'd like to talk about that was in this film. And that is none other than a guy that goes by the name of Pilou Asbæk. Yeah! Palu Asbak. Yeah, so if I'm saying that wrong, I'm very sorry. That's a hard name, it looks like, to pronounce, but it's Palu, Pilou, Asbak, which the A and E are like one word because of where he's from. It's an interesting pronunciation, but if I said it wrong, I'm very sorry. But anyways, Palu plays the main villain in the film, and he is actually really fantastic in the film. I really enjoyed him as the villain. I thought he did a really good job. I've seen him in a few other things over the years, and I think that he's a pretty decent actor, and I think that this, attests to how good of he plays villains, and pretty much he always usually plays villains, so it was nice to see him play kind of a different character, as a villain too as well, because I felt that it was a lot different than his previous villains I've seen, and I thought he did a really good job with that. Now, another film he was in that I really enjoyed him, and he's kind of like an anti-hero in the film, and he just rocks it out and plays a really amazing character in this film. And that, of course, is a film called Ghost in the Shell. Yeah! Ghost in the Shell. Yeah! So Ghost in the Shell is a great, live-action film based off of the animated film from the 90s. That's a Japanese comic book, and is just a really fantastic film that, really brought that to the live-action market. And Palu plays a really awesome character in the film that actually has, robotic eyes, and he just is really cool and just really rocks in this film. And I just really enjoyed him because he brings a different kind of vibe to his character. He's definitely different than he is in his other films I've seen him in. And he just brings a really cool, awesome bad guy, anti-hero, cool guy that kicks some butt throughout the film. And his action sequences in the film were really well done, and he just really kicked butt. If you haven't seen Palu in anything, definitely check out him in Ghost in a Shell. He was actually really superb. But overall, I really enjoyed him as the bad guy. Thought he did a good job. I liked his interactions with all the different characters, especially Sylvester and Javon. And I just thought that he brought a great essence to this villain and gave us a really solid performance that was a great villain in this film. If you haven't seen, Palu in anything, definitely check him out. Samaritan on Prime. He was really amazing. So what is Samaritan about? Basically, the premise of the film is this young kid starts to think that his next door neighbor is this superhero that's named Samaritan, who supposedly died many years ago when he fought his twin brother Nemesis. And so basically, this kid starts to get into all these kind of crazy situations, and Samaritan, or this character who is supposed to think that it's Samaritan, keeps showing up to help him out, and basically end up becoming friends and have to stop the main villain in the film. And it's just a really awesome action-packed film, lots of great fun, really awesome sequences. I mean, there's a lot of great sequences in this film. I think one of my favorite sequences is the first time, Javon's character finds out that the Samaritan has to eat ice cream in order to cool down or his heart will explode. Was a really cool scene. There's other great scenes. There's some great fight sequence between, the bad guy and Samaritan. You got some great action sequences where Javon's involved, where he's, running from bad guys and stuff like that. There's just a lot of great action sequences throughout this whole entire film that were just really super enjoyable. A great film. I give it a giant 10 golden wheel boxes up. I loved it. I really enjoyed it, and I thought they did a really fantastic job with it. If you have not seen it, definitely go check it out on Prime now. It's a really fun film, really well done, and just a no-brainer type of film. It's an action-packed, awesome flick just to check out. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, also thank you for subscribing. If this is your first time here, or you have before, don't forget to check out any older new videos you might not have seen mine yet. As always, people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube and want to show support, definitely check out my links down below. Either from my Patreon page, where I give my exclusive people that are part of my Patreon access to awesome bloopers, outtakes, and all kinds of stupid, cool stuff like that, suggestions on what they would like to see next on the channel and so forth, definitely check that out. Or if you're a horror fan, definitely check out the Horror Pack link, where you get great horror films to your door every month for a great low price. Oh yeah! As always, people, also, I'm taking part in this awesome contest called The Face of Horror. Definitely check that out too, people. You'll find the link in my Instagram, my Facebook, and all that kind of stuff, so definitely check that out too. As always, catch you in the next one.